Oh yeah, look at all that nice and dry. Hey everybody, this is part 2 of the big brake job. Okay, so it's all clean and dry. Just take a note of what's going on there. You can see that bit of wear and that extra bit of, abrasive, what's going on there. Right, could even be wearing unevenly, who knows. You need to get them off to have a look at that, but just take note of that. When it's clean, you can see these things. Let's have a look around this side. Same thing, seems to be wearing on that outer side, that side. More than whatever, but that's all good. So now what we're going to do, it's all clean and dry. We can use that at almost dry. Still a bit wet there, isn't it? Beautiful, that's all right. It's always going to get wet again and all that, so we're not too worried about it. We're going to crank that adjuster. We're going to get the new rotors first. We'll get the new rotors and see what they fit up like. All right, so here we go. There's different ways to do this, but see, I've set the new rotors on and see how they've got a fair bit of wobble in them still like that. Right, so what I'm going to do, they're just easy to just, slip them off like this and make some adjustments rather than work through the hole. And I've just got to find the hole again and get it back on. But anyway, the point is you get in there. If it wobbles like that, that's showing you've got a heap of clearance at your brake shoes still. So you pretty much should be able to adjust them, that you can still slide these on and off because it shouldn't be dragging, right? But, depending how you go, you might need to go through the hole here and make your adjustment that way. So I'm going to muck around for a little bit, probably take me a few minutes, on and off, on and off, on and off, whatever, and adjust that. So I literally just spent about 3 minutes on and off a couple of times, and you can see now, so you got a bit of, you're always going to have the movement because it's not bolted down, but you can sort of feel how much clearance you got behind there where the shoes are, and there's a little bit there. If you go to turn it, basically you don't want to hear any scraping, so I could probably go another click or two, but to be honest, it's a massive improvement, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. And this is why I don't want to over adjust it. When I say over adjust it, if it's on-road use only and it's not going to hit dirt tracks, which if it is, you need to sell the Prado and buy a Kluger or something like that, maybe a Corolla or a Camry, or maybe a RAV4. But the thing is, it's a four-wheel drive, so it's going to go on the dirt, it's going to get wet, it's going to go in mud, certainly going to get stuff in there. So a bit of clearance in here is actually a good thing. The tighter it is, the quicker it'll loosen up and you're just going to chew through brake shoes. So this is actually heaps, so that one's done. Let's go over the other side. Right, so purposely went one extra adjustment so I can show you when you go to, oh no, it still goes on, but see it's tight. Oh, hang on, no, it's not too bad actually. It went all right. I meant to go extra to show you how hard it can be get on, how tight it is, but actually a couple extra clicks and it worked out perfect. See what I mean? Like, can you see that? It's kind of just like, it is hard to show, but yeah, that one's got a little bit less clearance than the other one. Let's turn it, see if we can hear anything. I'm happy with that, so we're going to leave it at that. All right, so the rotor's sitting on. Now what we need to do is remember to bring in our caliper bracket. In this case, I think I've done some maintenance on it. Check the videos, check the brakes playlist, as I said in the other video. I'm just going to go put some grease on those bolts. They're looking a bit dry, you know what I mean? So these ones, give them a clean up and a grease. Some people are asking, what did you clean them with? What did you do? Okay, so all I did was spray them with a bit of Inox MX3, I think it is. Is that the multi-purpose one? Let me know in the comments, I don't know. Use whatever brand you want, CRC, whatever, WD, whatever. I do like the Inox product and I do like the CRC products. So yeah, you get that. It might just sucked into the brand name thing, whatever. Anyway, of course, both of those got started by hand. So then we can quite easily put the ratchet on those. Remember how tight these had to be from the other video? F-tight, that means fairly tight. Fairly bloody tight. Alright, F-tight. I'm not saying that's it. I'll probably tighten them up again afterwards, but this is a 1/2 inch ratchet and it's got a fair crank on it. I'd say that's it, to be honest. That's it, they're tight, they're F-tight. I've got a little bit of strength in me, so it might not look like much, but it's tight. And they're not too tight that I was going to break them or anything like that either. Okay, so we've got the rotor sitting there. So we've got our little trick. Sometimes you can put the wheel nuts on to hold the rotor in if you need to. Mainly on the front, you don't really need to on the back. Now we've got some pads prepared. Of course, we've got the genuine pads, right, from lsiauto.com.au, and a little bit cheaper than the Toyota dealer, so happy days, right? So What I've done, I put a little bit of copperies. That's the Penrite. Again, I'm not sponsored by any brand or whatever, but you know, I just kind of like that tub of Penrite copperies. Right, so I put a little bit of copperies on the back of the pad. I put the 2 factory original genuine backing plates on, and then I put a tiny little bit of on the back as well, right, where the caliper's going to sit. So you'll see the marks where the caliper's going to sit. So both those backing plates are there. Keep your hands clean if you're going to touch the pads, or don't touch the pads. And just slowly, sometimes you kind of go, hang on, how are these pads meant to go in? Have I got them the wrong way or whatever? And these are literally like the easiest pads, but I'm going to make them look hard because we're doing a video here. And sometimes things aren't as easy for you as they are for me. Sometimes it's heaps easier for you than it is for me too, right? Because I'm not the best or anything. I'm just showing you how it's done if you know less than me. Or maybe a different perspective, you know? Maybe we know the same as each other, but you know, and you do it your way, I do mine, but this is just a different way, right? So piston's already pressed in, give it inspection, no leaks, whatever. You can clean it if you want, I'm not worried about it. Like I said, it's just gonna get full of mud, dust and dirt. So I'm just bringing that into position there. All the backing plates will be sitting in position. I'm bringing my nice clean slide pins back into position, give the caliper a bit of a wiggle, move in place so it goes straight in without worrying about getting any dirt on it. Because you know, you don't want to get them filled up with dirt in there either, right? So get that boot actually in the right spot would be helpful. So exactly what I'm talking about, that never happens, is kind of like happening at the bottom here. Come on, would you? What's going on? Okay, try that. All right. This car is, you know, we look after it really well, but it is the off-roader, the Victorian high country, or the Victoria trip vehicle. So it does a lot of, you know, trips and tracks and camping in Victoria. So it's going to be out there. Let's not get too fussed about it, you know. It's going to get worked on. It's going to be out there. When you go and do the dust and the dirt and the four-wheel drive tracks, you can expect to be working on the vehicle again more regularly than the normal four-wheel drive that doesn't actually really go on trips. And the ones that don't go on trips at all, obviously, you know, they're going to need the least maintenance. But there's a big but still. Some people that have got these vehicles shouldn't. They should have got the Kluger or whatever. And we're going to have another video. Might come out before or after this one. That's tight. F tight. Might come out before or after this one. I know it's going to be, should you buy it? It's going to be Fortuner versus Kluger or something like that, right? Should you buy the Kluger or the Fortuner? Because there's a few people in that dilemma. Some people have asked, so we'll do a video. So this side's done. Now double check. We've still got the brake fluid bleed to go. Hasn't happened yet. That's probably going to be in one of the next videos. We can't fit it all in, but rotor's on. Those are in. We tighten those. We tighten those. 4 bolts basically done, not forgotten. Pads in the right way. Double check. Have a look. Don't forget, before you move the vehicle, you need to gently pump the brake pedal. That doesn't mean push it to the floor past its normal travel. Don't do that. It's, you know, you've really got to watch the playlist. Don't trust this one video on 4x4 diesel. Go and have a look. Right, at playlists, you'll find one called Brakes. Check out all those videos, have a laugh, get yourself educated, because there's so much information, I can't fit it all in this video. Now let's go around the other side. Just what it looks like from this side anyway. Beautiful. lsi.com.au, Toyota pads courtesy of lsi.com.au. Thank you very much. All right, same thing, different perspective. We've done, obviously, you do things in pairs. While I prepared the pads for the other side, I prepared the pads for this side. While I lubed the bolts for the other side, I lubed the bolts for this side, right? So as you know, that just sits there. A nice lubricated bolts. I'm not sticking my head in the way of the picture. I'm just gonna have a bit of a feel around. That's where it kind of goes, around about there somewhere. Yes! Okay, down here. See, with the lubrication, it just turns beautifully, as you can see. Look, all the way in, it's virtually, don't even need to put a ratchet on that. Not. Of course you need to tighten it up. So for a lot of people that haven't got the feel for it, haven't got the experience, it's probably wise to have some sort of torque wrench. You know, there's quality ones out there. There's Australian made ones. The Warren and Brown, still made in Australia, Australian owned. I think by three people own Warren and Brown or something like that, I think is how it goes. Might have some more info for you in some other videos either recently or soon. Which reminds me, yeah, I'll have to, mine's still there getting calibrated. So I just want it tight. If I can hit the ratchet and not break my hand and it moves, then it's not tight enough. And if it doesn't move, then it's tight enough. That's where it's at. All right, so just check that's right if you like. Yeah, it looks right. Make sure they're all in. We talked about that in other videos. Check the playlists. Right. The inner pad, same thing. A little bit of grease on the inside where the piston is going to sit. Try and keep your pads clean as you can. It's a bit difficult when you can't get around because you've got a bloody tripod and a camera in the way and you can't see what you're doing, but you know, lucky we got lucky. But then we noticed that backing plate was just sticking out a little bit there, because these things happen when you can't see what you're doing. You've got cameras in the way, it costs you time. So hit the like button. So, you know, the like button on Facebook and YouTube, isn't it? It's a bit like let's use it like a thank you button. Thanks for that. Yep. Doesn't mean you do like it. Might be just saying, yep, thanks for the reply or the recognition or the, you know, the fact that you've asked, you know, and there's a reply there. Yep, thanks, you know. Like, even you don't really like it, just to be nice. So all the backing plates are on. Beautiful. Pads are in. A little bit of that copper is on the outside of the plate, like I said. Now we're ready for the caliper to go on. Don't get it all twisted up. Again, you can have an inspection of that and go, yep, you see some surface rust inside the piston there. You see that? Whatever, right? That's what it is. Water gets in there. So we could spend forever working on our own vehicles. I could probably work on my own vehicles all week, actually, once a month. And, you know, vehicles takes up time. So give this a bit of a move around and make sure you get the boots lined up so the hole's in line, you know, and those ones look all right. Let's see if we go better on this side than we did at the other side. What I do sometimes is get the bit of grease off the end of the pin and just put it on the pin as well. So I just did a little bit of that. Not much, doesn't need a lot because it just creates a big suction thing if you put too much there. Right, so I just have a look at it, make sure there's a little bit there. Sometimes I do a bit of maintenance and put a bit extra grease on there, but very minimal, keep it, you know. What type they said? Well, that's complicated. Well, it's a good question actually, because I've tried a number of different greases, because you know, rubber grease is meant to be for rubber, but there's different rubber greases, and then there's other greases that aren't rubber grease that work and they don't mess with these rubbers because they're, what's the letter again? Anyway, those 4 letters, type rubber most likely. And then you can probably just use the EP3 on it and it's not going to matter. So, yeah, what grease, whatever you got, but just a little bit. Okay. Now I've got the hoodie on so that you can't see the biceps because I don't want you to get too excited, all right? All right, they're tight. So that's that. Looks good. Let's bring it around. Right, beautiful. Like I said, look at these rotors, just beautiful. Rotors are rotors, people. At the end of the day, these have got the nice ground surface on them. I like that. It's got the coating, so you're not going to see the rusts here through your wheels, which is good. I do personally prefer black, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. You're not standing there looking at your brakes that long, are you? But yeah, good surface. The quality of the rotors, look, it's good enough. A rotor's a rotor, mate. They're cast, they're ground, whatever happens. At the end of the day, if it goes for 50 or 100,000 cars and you don't have any issues, happy days. You've got the genuine pads, that's what matters, because they're going to be quiet, low on dust, they're going to last really well. And we're going to have a bit of a comparison because we've got the horsepower pads in the front of the Hilux. We're about to put a setup just like this in the front of this Prado. But that pretty well wraps up what we need to show you at the back here. So we're going to double check everything's tight. And then what we'll probably do is skip to a brake fluid flush in the next video, because we want to do that before we put the wheels on. Or should we go to the, no, let's do the front brake. So let's wrap this one up. Hit the like button if you liked it, you learned something. Subscribe, turn the bell on if you want. This is the rear brakes, checking the shoes between those 2 videos. This is number 2. Number 3 will be doing the front pads and rotors. And we've done it in other videos before. So again, I remind you, check out that brakes playlist. Catch ya.